A man stands barefoot on the hard-packed earth of a desert courtyard. The sun beats down on his shoulders. Just different titles for the men in charge of the ancient church service. But if you look closer at the boundary lines drawn, you wake up in the dark. The alarm has not even gone off yet. You stare at the ceiling. You feel the tightness in your chest. You feel the dull ache in your jaw from grinding your teeth in your sleep. You are carrying something. You reach for the glowing screen. The harsh blue light hits your eyes. The emails are stacking up. The bills are waiting. The children need direction. The aging parents need care. The marriage needs repair. The future needs a guaranteed plan. You feel the physical weight of it all pressing down on your shoulders before your feet even touch the cold floor. You carry your family. You carry your career. You carry your hidden mistakes. You are trying to wear the ephod. We do this without even realizing it. We wake up every single morning and we try to act as our own Cohen. We engrave our own names on our own shoulders. We put our own anxieties directly over our own chest. We stand in the gap for our own survival. We try to manage the chaotic perimeter of our lives so that everything does not burn to the ground. We think we are just being responsible adults. We are actually performing a rogue priesthood. We act like Levites who want to carry the heavy furniture in the sand. At the original Hebrew text, underneath the English translation, you start to realize something the bureaucracy reading completely misses. But we also try to be the high priest who stands before God to guarantee the outcome. We carry the brutal anxiety of the future because we believe, deep down, that if we do not carry it, no one else will. We bear the weight of our own failures. We wear the heavy guilt of our own secret betrayals. Self-reliance is not a virtue. It is a phantom priesthood. You are acting as a high priest for a temple of one, and it is physically and spiritually crushing you. The human frame was not built to carry the onyx stones. Your collarbone was not designed for the heavy gold filigree. When you try to bear the weight of your own salvation, your own provision, and your own unwritten future, you will eventually collapse. You will break under the sheer radiation of a world you cannot control. The rebellious Levites could not survive the divine fire. You cannot survive the divine weight. But there is a reason you feel the instinct to have a priest. There is a reason your chest feels tight and you are desperate for someone to stand in the gap. The gap is real. The fire is real. You just need a better Cohen. You need a mediator whose shoulders are actually broad enough to carry the stone. The priesthood is not a promotion. It is a proximity. To be a Levite is an ancestry. You are born into a tribe. And to find him, you have to leave the desert tabernacle. You have to fast forward past the prophets. You have to walk up a rocky hill just outside Jerusalem on a Friday afternoon, where the final priest is about to go to work. A man hangs by iron spikes on a rough wooden beam outside the city gates. The sky above Jerusalem goes completely black at exactly noon. The air turns cold and heavy. He pushes up against the splintered wood, scraping his shredded back, just to pull a single, agonizing breath into his crushed lungs. To the Roman centurion standing guard, this is a routine state execution. To the religious elites watching from a distance, this is the successful removal of a blasphemer. But to anyone who knows the ancient desert language, the geometry of this moment looks entirely different. He is not a victim caught in a political machine. He is the final Kohen going to work. Jesus of Nazareth was not born from the tribe of Levi. He was born from the line of Judah. Under the strict boundary lines of the desert law, he had no right to carry the bronze censer. He had no right to step past the heavy linen veil inside the stone temple. But the writer of Hebrews tells us that Jesus did not come to join the Levite bureaucracy. He came to replace it. He stations himself in the exact place Aaron stood. You are attached to a bloodline, but to be a priest is a completely different kind of burden, and this distinction matters. The terrifying, lethal space between the unyielding fire of God's holiness and the fragile, failing humanity in the camp. But he does not bring the blood of a goat in a bronze basin. He brings his own. Look at the physical posture of the crucifixion. He is stationed, anchored by iron. He is standing in the gap to absorb the shockwave. He is not wearing a high priest's heavy ephod woven with gold thread. He is wearing the actual weight of the world. The names of the tribes are not engraved on onyx stones resting on his shoulders. The names are carved directly into his flesh. He is carrying the crushing anxiety of the future you are terrified of. He is bearing the quiet, shameful failures you try to hide in the dark. Every single piece of rogue priesthood you have ever tried to perform in your own life is resting directly on his collarbone as he suffocates. And then, he drops his head. He exhales one final time. The ground shudders violently beneath the cross, but the true earthquake happens a mile away. Deep inside the dim stone walls of the temple, the massive, embroidered veil separating the holy place from the absolute presence of God, the exact veil the Levites were forbidden to touch under threat of instant death, violently rips in two from top to bottom. It matters because thousands of years later, a fisherman named Peter will pick up a pen and write to a scattered, terrified group. The thick, heavy smell of crushed frankincense spills out into the open air. The terrifying perimeter is shattered. The final priest has walked through the barrier. And because his shoulders are broad enough, he has dragged all of us in with him. But that torn fabric leaves a massive question hanging in the dust of the first century. If the boundary line is gone, and the final high priest has finished the work, what exactly is left for us to do? The thick curtain lies on the stone floor. The perimeter is shattered. But the story does not end in the rubble of the first century. Because 30 years later, a fisherman writes a letter. Peter sits in a world hostile to his faith. He writes to believers who are hunted. He writes to people who are exhausted. And he gives them a title. He does not call them Levites. He does not tell them to guard the perimeter. He calls them a royal priesthood, a nation of KOHENim. This is the profound shift. Jesus finishes the work. He secures the sanctuary. He carries the heavy onyx stones. He anchors the bridge permanently. And, because he holds that ground, the requirements for humanity change entirely. The priesthood of the believer is not a theological metaphor. It is a physical posture. We are no longer rogue priests trying to save ourselves, of early Christians. And he will not call them Levites. He will call them a royal priesthood. If you do not know, we are deputized priests called to stand for others. We do not carry the weight of our own atonement. We carry the names of the broken into the presence of the one who already paid for it. Think about what a priest actually does. He stands in the gap. He brings the needs of the camp to the throne. He brings the mercy of the throne back to the camp. We do this every single day. We do it in the mundane dirt of human existence. We see a marriage collapsing. We see a child wandering. We see a friend sinking under the cold weight of grief. We sit in the sterile, fluorescent light of a hospital waiting room, tasting the bitter metallic tang of fear. What do? We do not fix them. We cannot save them. We do not have the blood required to heal the disease. But we have a title. We have proximity. We take their name. We press it against our chest. We walk straight into the Holy of Holies, bold and unhindered, because the veil is gone. We stand before the Creator of the universe. We speak their name in the dark. We become the human lightning rod, pulling the grace of God down into their desperate reality. What that word actually meant in the desert. You will misread Peter. You will misread the entire book of Hebrews. We are not the sacrifice. We are the ones who bring the bleeding world to the one who was. That is what it means to be a royal priesthood. That is what it means to stop acting like a Levite maintaining the church bureaucracy and start acting like a Cohen standing in the fire. But when you step back and look at the whole sweeping narrative, from the desert sand to the torn veil, you realize something breathtaking about the God who designed this entire system. The Levites carried the heavy wooden poles and guarded the sacred perimeter. Aaron stood in the ashes of a rebellion and survived the terrifying divine fire. The ancient high priest wore the heavy onyx stones and carried the names of a broken people into the dark. We tried to wear the ephod ourselves and broke under the crushing weight of our own survival. A savior hung on a rough Roman beam and anchored a permanent bridge between heaven and dirt. The heavy embroidered veil ripped in two, and the localized presence of God spilled out into the open world. A fisherman wrote to a scattered, exhausted church and deputized them to carry the names of the hurting. One priesthood, one bridge. You will look at your own life and think, God is handing you a religious title. He is not offering a title, but maybe the part that stays with me most is the stones. The gold filigree resting on the collarbone, because the high priest did not walk into the Holy of Holies with a generic, abstract prayer for the masses. He walked in wearing the violently etched names of 12 deeply flawed, constantly complaining, rebellious tribes. He carried them individually, by name. If you are in a season where your chest is tight and your jaw aches from trying to manage the perimeter of your own life, you have to take the ephod off. You were not built to bear the weight of the onyx. You do not have to perform a rogue, exhausting priesthood to guarantee your own future. The final Kohen has already finished the work. He is already stationed in the gap, and he is already carrying your specific, fragile name into the absolute presence of the Father. And may the God who tore the veil from top to bottom meet you in the exact place you are standing right now, and give you the absolute peace of knowing you are carried by the one whose shoulders are broad enough to hold it all. He is demanding a location. To feel the weight of what that location requires, you have to start in the wilderness. You have to go back to a moment when the boundary line between a Levite and a priest was violently tested. The air around him is thick, heavy with the sharp, metallic tang of blood and the dense smoke of burning fat. You have to watch what happens when a man decides that serving in the courtyard is no longer enough. The camp of ancient Israel was organized in massive, concentric circles of fabric and flesh. If you mapped it out from a high cliff, you would see the 12 tribes camped on the outside. Moving inward, you would find the tents of the Levites forming a protective ring, and at the absolute dead center, wrapped in layers of animal skin and fine linen, sat the tabernacle. The tabernacle was not a community center. It was a localized, burning epicenter. Holiness, in the ancient Hebrew mind, is not just a moral category. It is a literal, physical force. It is closer to radiation than it is to good behavior. The creator of the universe is touching down on the dirt of the Sinai Peninsula, and you need specialists to manage the perimeter so the people are not consumed by the sheer weight of his presence. That is where the Levites come in. The name itself, Levi, comes from a Hebrew root meaning joined or attached. When Leah gave birth to Jacob's third son, she named him Levi, hoping her husband would finally be attached to her. Hundreds of years later, this entire tribe becomes the attached workforce for the tabernacle. They are the ones sweating in the desert sun. He wears a tunic of woven linen, pristine and white, when the morning began, but now splattered with crimson. He holds a bronze basin. They are taking down the heavy linen curtains, packing up the bronze altars, loading the massive wooden poles onto ox carts. They are the mechanics of the sacred. But inside that tribe, an invisible, terrifying boundary line is drawn. God takes the tribe of Levi, and then he isolates just one specific family within it, the family of Aaron. And he hands them a completely different designation. The thousands of other Levites can carry the holy furniture, but they are strictly forbidden from looking at it. Before a Levite could enter the tent to pack up the table of showbread or the golden lampstand, the family of Aaron had to go in first. They had to drape the objects in blue cloth and thick, rough badger skins. Only when the holy things were completely concealed could the Levites step forward to slide the wooden poles through the gold rings. If a Levite touched the uncovered furniture, or even looked at it for a second, the book of Numbers says he would die. A Levite is not a mediator. He is a guardian of the perimeter. The priests, the sons of Aaron, are the only ones allowed to cross the threshold. They are the ones who walk into the dim light of the holy place. Smelling the sharp scent of crushed frankincense, he listens to the bleating of terrified livestock. He works. He is a Levite. You see men like him all over the ancient text, brushing past the heavy embroidered veil. It is a massive distinction. The Levites maintain the house, but the priests approach the presence. But proximity breeds a very specific kind of resentment. When you spend your entire life carrying the heavy wooden poles, butchering the sacrifices, and watching your own cousins walk through a veil you are forbidden to touch, something dark begins to fester. You start to wonder why your bloodline is relegated to the courtyard while they get the sanctuary. And eventually, a Levite named Korah decides he has had enough. Korah gathers his men, 250 chiefs of the congregation. They are not nobodies. They are men of renown. They are the Levites who carry the heavy holy things through the blistering heat. But they want more. They stand before Moses. They raise their voices. "You have gone too far," Korah says. "The entire community is holy. Why do you set yourselves above the Lord's assembly?" Moses does not argue. He does not debate theology. He falls on his face in the dirt. He knows the sheer danger Korah is playing with. Moses sets a test. "Tomorrow morning, bring your censers. Put fire in them. Lay incense on them. We will see who the Lord chooses to bring near." The next dawn breaks over the camp. The desert air is cool and still. The entire nation of Israel gathers, watching in dead silence. They are the mechanics of the tabernacle. They carry the heavy tent pegs. They butcher the bulls. They sing the psalms. 250 men stand at the entrance of the tent of meeting. They hold bronze censers. Red-hot coals glow in the metal bowls. The sweet, heavy scent of burning frankincense rises into the pale sky. Aaron stands with them. One man against 250, all holding the exact same fire, all offering the exact same smoke. Then the glory of the Lord appears. The ground groans. The earth beneath Korah's tents physically splits open. The dirt yawns wide and swallows the rebels alive. They go down into the dark, and the earth closes its mouth over them. A heartbeat later, fire flashes from the presence of the Lord. It rips through the courtyard. It incinerates the 250 chiefs holding the bronze bowls. The smoke of their holy incense suddenly mixes with the sharp, sickening smell of burning flesh. The priesthood is not a political office you campaign for. It is a lethal proximity you must be chosen to survive. Korah thought he was demanding equality. He thought he was fighting a bureaucratic hierarchy. He did not realize he was demanding to step in front of a radioactive core without the proper shielding. The Levites wanted the veil, but they were not equipped to survive it. But Aaron survives. He stands in the exact same courtyard. He holds the exact same bronze censer. He breathes the exact same smoke. And the fire from heaven, they guard the gates. If you read through the endless lists of names and duties in the book of Numbers, does not touch him. He remains standing in the ashes of 250 men. The question is, why? What makes Aaron different from the Levites standing 3 feet to his left? What shields him from the fire? The answer is not in his moral perfection. The answer is found in the title God gave him. And to understand it, you have to look at a single Hebrew word. Aaron survives the fire. Not because he is morally superior to the men who burned, but because he was uniquely positioned. To understand that positioning, you have to look at the exact title God assigned to him in the book of Exodus. The word your English Bible translates as priest is the Hebrew word KOHEN. It appears over 700 times in the ancient text. Yet, the word carries an entirely different weight than we assume. The English word priest comes with centuries of European baggage. We picture stiff collars, quiet cathedrals, and men speaking softly behind heavy wooden pulpits. But the etymology of Kohen is tied to a very specific physical posture in a world of blood and fire. The root suggests one who stands. The verb form, KOHEN, means to act as a mediator, to minister. But it fundamentally requires the action of being stationed before a sovereign. It is easy to blur them all together into one massive, holy workforce. Most people read the Old Testament. The Levites are constantly moving. They are packing the heavy linen curtains, loading the wooden carts, driving the oxen across the blistering sand. But the Kohen is stationed. He is anchored in the presence of God. If something about this ancient language is shifting how you see the text, you're exactly who this channel is for. Drop a thought in the comments and hit subscribe, because every week we dig into the words hiding beneath your English Bible. So Aaron stands in the ash. He stands where the Levites fell. Because a Kohen is uniquely appointed to absorb the shockwave of the divine presence. In the ancient Near East, he was a bridge anchored in two different worlds simultaneously. He had to represent a holy God to a broken people, and he had to carry a broken people directly into the presence of a holy God. You see this posture later in the book of Deuteronomy, where God explicitly defines the highest calling of the priesthood, to stand before the Lord to minister to him. The Levites guarded the perimeter, but the Kohen had to plant his bare feet directly in front of the throne. If the bridge collapses on either side, the people are consumed. A Kohen is not, and assume this is all there is to the priesthood. A religious caste system, a bureaucracy of holy men, a religious bureaucrat. He is a human lightning rod. He stands in the gap to take the heat. But to survive that proximity, Aaron cannot walk into the holy place wearing whatever he wants. God designs a very specific, a heavy garment to shield him. And the most important piece of that uniform is not actually meant for his protection. It is meant for his shoulders. Bezalel beats the gold into paper-thin sheets. He takes a blade and cuts the metal into razor-thin wires. He weaves the cold gold directly into the blue, purple, and scarlet linen. This is the ephod, the heaviest, most intricate garment ever constructed in the wilderness. Aaron stands still in the courtyard as the fabric is lifted and draped over him. It is heavy. The metallic threads catch the blinding desert sun, but the true weight of the garment is not in the gold. It is in the stones, on his left shoulder. A massive onyx stone set in gold filigree. On his right shoulder, another, carved deep into the black. Polished surface of those stones are names. 6 sons of Israel on one side, 6 on the other. He feels them pressing down on his collarbone. Every time the Kohen takes a step toward the sanctuary, he is physically bearing the weight. We use the terms interchangeably in our modern minds. Levite, priest. We assume they are the exact same job, of the nation on his shoulders. Then comes the breastpiece of judgment, a span of thick fabric folded double, bound by gold chains to the shoulder pieces. 12 precious stones lie cold against his chest. Ruby, topaz, emerald, sapphire, amethyst, jasper, and violently etched into each stone. A name: Reuben, Simeon, Judah, Asher, Naphtali. The ephod is not a piece of clothing. It is an architecture of substitution. The Levite carries the tent. The Kohen carries the people. When Aaron walks, the names walk. When he stands in the dim light of the holy place, the names stand. When he passes through the heavy embroidered veil, and the sharp smell of frankincense fills his lungs, he does not enter the presence of God as a solitary individual. He drags the entire fractured, rebellious family of Jacob in with him. The people are out in the camp, complaining about water, hoarding manna, wishing they were back in Egypt. They are failing in the dirt. But inside the sanctuary, they are carved in onyx. They are set in gold. They are resting directly over the beating heart of the high priest. He is their proxy. He stands where they cannot survive standing. This is what a Kohen was designed to do. But thousands of years later, in our modern world, we have completely lost sight of this architecture. We have forgotten what the priest was built to carry. And because we forgot, we have quietly assumed a burden that was never meant for our shoulders.